Well, hello, my fellow car modelers. How are you doing today? It is the first update on my USACC build 2025, the Hemi Dart. And I've got some work done to it. Now I'm looking forward to showing it to you. So let's listen to the music right there, and we'll get in on this. Got some cool things to show you. Okay, here we go. This is what we got done so far. I've got basically the chassis put together. It's just going to be black. I'm not doing a lot of stuff down there. Just had to get things rolling. I love using these Tamiya semi-flat is what I used on here, and I just love how it lays out. So nice. It's so good. That's what I did on the interior here too. I am up in the air what I'm going to do about flocking, because the car did have black carpeting in it. I'm thinking about flocking this. I haven't started working on the door cards yet, the sides there. There's going to be some modifications. We'll get into that need to be done to make it accurate for a LO23 Dart, which the car that I'm replicating turns out it wasn't a true LO23. They actually built the car from a body in white in 1972, a 1972 Dart, and they just kind of changed it over and backdated it a bit. I've been trying to get a hold of them and get some information on the car. I really like to, as if you happen to have listened to our latest podcast from the Scale Model Car podcast, we talk about how far we go into researching when we build our models. And I kind of talk about my research I'm doing on this car. And when I'm taking on a project like this, I want to know as much about the real car as possible. I am learning about it, and I'm put out the feelers to Mancini Racing, and I'm hoping that they communicate back to me, because I have some questions. I just want to make this car right. For me, I just enjoy doing that. By the time this car that I'm doing started running in around the 73 season, I'm going to be doing it probably a version of how the car was mostly known when Ron Mancini drove it in about the 73, 74 season. That's the direction I'm going to go, which I showed these before, is what made me finally able to do this car after wanting to do it for around 20 years, is unfortunately for a very short time, this decal sheet was put out. I wish I would have bought two. I've seen this car built. It looks like it does well, but I'm very concerned about, we got a little bit of pixelation here in the red. I hope it lays down and looks good. Or I might just make some, so that's a lot of work right there to mask off, but I might have to make some stencils from this, and maybe I'll mask off and paint. I don't know. We'll get to that when we get to that. This makes me very happy. They were heavily backed by Excel, which means I get to use yellow spark plug wires. How cool is that? Let me show you something very cool. And that's why, if you saw in a previous video I did with Concur Model Accessories, beautiful, one of the best looking pre-wire distributors I have seen. And when he asked me what I wanted, I said send me an Excel one, because I planned on using this for this car. And there it goes. And these are all made from, which is my favorite company for detail parts, ProTech. Right here, I always have a bunch of Charlie stuff on hand. All made from ProTech parts. So I've always liked ProTech wires, so it's ProTech wires, we're winning. So I'm going to go ahead, use that with this. But here's a couple of things I did. I'm going to be actually using some product of mine and some things I've made. And this is one thing I'm not going to use from this kit, the hood scoop. I don't believe Revell really, they simplified it a bit, but they didn't hit the mark on this. And these things right here, they were just kind of like more, well, that's not even the biggest deal. It's cool they got that, but I'll just do that with little rods. It's not really I don't know, kind of weird what they did, but it's not really the right shape, and it's not have a very distinctive character lines that the actual scoops had. So I made my own. I actually used to produce one in resin, And I took my resin piece and I thought I'd vacuum form it. This is actually a piece that I made a long time ago, and I went ahead and used that because I kind of like the looks of it better. It just has the looks of the real one, and I'm going to just take wire and put my 3 pegs that hold it up, and there's my hood scoop. I just think it looks better. It's really thin. Looks like the fiberglass hood scoop that was on the fiberglass hood, being a different shape than the what they designed, which this is really more correct. I kind of got a little bit of gap right there and there. I'll probably have to do a little putty and stuff and work with that, but it's a little flimsy because it's on there good, but which is kind of cool. I just like it looks more accurate, looks more real to me, so I'm going with that. I kind of started assembling the Hemi, getting that ready to do whatever paint I'm going to do. But yeah, this not getting used. Not at all. Here is, I've talked about these, the correct seats that did not come in the kit. I gotta have the correct seats. So these were seats I used to produce in resin, and I cast a couple up. I'm thinking about bringing these back. Is the old Dodge van, the A100 van. These were made by a company called Bolstrom. A lot of companies use these. Ford used these seats. Chrysler used these seats. I believe even Chevrolet. And these seats were bought up by a lot of the race teams, and they would add pieces to them. And these were like common racing seats in all forms of racing. And they would start with these Bolstrom seats. So they were very cool. It was an interesting little system they had. These just bolted onto a very simplified Swiss cheese, very cool looking little bracket, just bolted to the floor, and you bolted the seat where you want it, and it didn't slide. And I did also used to make that part with this seat in resin, and I haven't found my molds yet. I'd like to bring that back and bring that. Whether I'll use it on this, because you won't really see them unless you open up the doors, and I'm not opening the doors on this. So these seats might be a little too low because I'm not using them, so I'll probably have to put something under them. So I don't think I'll use my brackets, but definitely that's what the seats look like. They're very, very cool. I'll be using those. And last is with the little cutout I did, and a few other things. Now, if you go over and you watch this video right here from my buddy Jason, not Blue Ox, but that Jason right here, he's got a real dart, and he did this video for us in the USACC to go over all the neat little characteristics of an actual Dodge dart. And he pointed out a few things, especially like that really helped me with this, is they molded onto this body the chrome trim, and he shows us what it looks like without the chrome trim. And so I did a lot of sanding, and can you see that? Got the chrome trim gone, but kept that character line I wanted to keep. It didn't matter with the rear because we're cutting the rear out, but again, and this is something that Jason also concurs with me, Revell did not, they did give a cutout, but it's really not accurate. And you see that red portion right there, I still left some of their pattern out because they go a little too round. It's very straight across at the top. And I showed this before. I made a stencil here, which, let's see, yeah, it would work on this side. And of course, you flip it around to work on the other side. But that's what I used. I used that stencil, and bam, I got the shape I wanted. So that's what I followed. I have posted a few pictures on the USACC group of really good side shots of some of these fenders for anybody who wants to try to follow the correct cutting out of them. And you know, anybody asks, we can put it up on the Luka C Model Car Hobby Headquarters Facebook group too. So that is a real distinctive thing I feel with these cars, that they just had to be done right. And I've also taken off the GTS. I've sanded that. I took the front marker light off because these were just fiberglass panels. The whole front clip was fiberglass when you got the cars, but you still had your 68 marker lights on the rear. We're doing it that way, and I already got that glued on too. That's they added this later on because we showed in the last video. The GTS had a big chrome piece that went across here, and you didn't get to see this really nice sheet metal work that they did. You know, the body panel stampings were actually pretty unique to these cars. And it was so nice when Revell came out with this version and we finally got that, because that was really hard to replicate when we didn't have that. Man, this kit coming out definitely got us closer. Few things off like I showed you, but no complaints. Easy stuff to fix. It's got us so close to being able to do a really good Hemi car. And this is what I've done. This is how far I got. I'm kind of kicking it in gear on this. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I kind of not really tubbing the car, but I'm mini tubbing. So I just ground out what needed to be ground out to fit the big slicks I want. These are the slicks I'm gonna use. These old Revell halfies. I love these. These are, and then here's the wheel. That's the wheel. So this is my plan, because Mancini ran super tricks on this car. Hopefully we will see it should fit like that. And I will have my look. Let's do a little test fit. Let's put this thing, mock it up. Why the heck not? This is terrible. I keep breaking these off. That's always a bummer. I hope I can find that piece. I just broke that off somewhere. That's frustrating, because those are a neat little added detail, but boy, they are delicate. I've already broke them several times. I've glued them all on, and now I'm missing that one. It's for the bumper. That's frustrating. But anyways, enough complaining. Let's see. This will go right in there, I think. Yeah, it's. We might be looking really good. It's still, and I might have to make some more room or do some changing. Something's off, but I got to get that rear wheel. It's going to have to go in a little farther, but it's definitely, that's the look we're going for. Yeah, that's going to be cool. It's going to be really super cool. So that's what we got. There is my, look, frickin' super stock leaf springs in the back. That was a big plus adding to this kit too. All the super stock parts, because it is a completely different rear end and spring setup that came with the GTS version. So we are looking great. Try it on this side. Yeah, I'm going to have to definitely do some work to get that a little bit farther in, but we'll get it there. That should look really cool, but I really like the looks of those tires. But I got a few other tires to try. I might not be able to, these might actually be a little bit too much, but we will see. We're going in the right direction. I think we're going to have a cool Hemi super stock, especially being my Grashit auto supply. See, I can say it right now. Thank you everyone who helped me out with that, especially all my friends from Detroit. My Grashit auto supply dream build. So cool. Still so stoked out about this build. No, I didn't get the Porsche done. You see, I'm having to say Porsche now for a year. But it's almost done, and we're still kicking it. It's still going forward. But I just put it aside for a little while. I got some really cool things I'm going to do with that. And Chuck might be nice to me. I don't know. Everybody rally over at Chuck's Hobby Spot and tell him, you know, if Matt finishes it, let him say. Do you notice how I had to block that out? Not allowed to say. Oh well. I didn't get it done. It's the deal. But I am going to get this done. Anyways, that's what we got. There we are. Check out everybody else's. There's, oh boy, I've been noticing a whole bunch of people dropping all types of YouTube videos on Instagram, whatever. You know, they're posting pics of their updates on their USACC build. This USACC build is big. Biggest one ever. It's fun to be a part of. And such a cool subject matter. Look at that. That just, I love those. I love those LO23s. Just beautiful, beautiful cars. Thanks, Kim. I want to give Kim another shout out. Thanks for picking this one. You made a lot of people happy with this. You really did, guy. That was very cool. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'm just having a good time blabbing about these model cars. Why is that? Why? Because they're fun, right? I don't want to drop it. Here's the producers.